What's up? My name is Devin. I also go by Infinite or Prod by Infinite, and today I'm gonna show y'all how to make vintage sounding samples for Larry June. Ones that actually just sound like this right here. Ooh, key, run it, key, play the key, play the loop, brother. Like that loop, huh? So I'm gonna give y'all all the secrets on making loops like that. So let's get into the very first thing, and that first thing is drum roll, please. Keyscape. Oddly enough, the good old trusty dusty Keyscape, brother. I feel like a lot of people feel like Keyscape is overrated nowadays, but I ain't gonna lie, the retro piano stuff like the JD 800 and stuff like that, even the MKS joints, they go pretty crazy. I ain't gonna lie, because this right here ain't got no effects on it. It's just like some EQ. You know what I mean? That's it. Whoa. Chords look crazy, right? Chords look crazy. Way easier, I promise you. Just stick with me. We're gonna play them, and then I'm gonna show you how you can make chords like this very easily. Very, very easily, bro. Trust me. All right, cool. So let's break this down real quick. So you see this chord, this big ass chord right here, bro. So basically this is a minor 11th. Dude, when I was making this loop, I was like, bro, why do I only use 7th and 9ths? Like, I just forgot that 11ths exist. You feel me? So I was making Larry June loops and I was like, bro, like, let me just try doing the 11th and see how that sounds. You know what I mean? So to do an 11th, all you're gonna do is you're gonna go to your scale. What you could do is you can right click right here on this little note, and then you can choose your scale. I'm using the Aeolian scale, which is the natural minor, and then the D minor. I'm in D minor, bro. Now that we're in D minor, this is how you make a minor 11th chord. You're gonna start on the root note right here. Boom. Then you're gonna skip one note in the scale. See all the highlighted ones? The lighter ones, those are the ones that are in key in the scale. You feel me? We're gonna skip this one and we're gonna go to the next one, and we just keep on doing that. Skip, boom, skip, boom, skip, boom, and we do that until we have 6 notes. Because this right here, triad, minor 7th, minor 9th, minor 11th. Let's get it, bruh. And then after that, all I did was just take this root note right here, the very first note in the chord, and I copied it down an octave just to make it seem a little bit more full. And then to make it more interesting, I just chopped it up right here, and I left some space. Like, if you're ever able to like leave space in your loop or your sample or something like that, do it, bruh, because it just makes it so much saucier. That was like the mentality of making this chord progression. Get the minor 11th, chop it up, you know what I mean? Leave some space, and then just kind of like do the same thing on the other end, but gotta go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the only difference with this right here is that the C6 note right here was just a little bit too high, so I just took that, copied it down an octave, and it's still a minor 11th chord. You know what I mean? And then I was like, hey, I did the chop on this side, let me do the chop on this side too. You feel me? I did like a slightly different one, just give it more variation and just make it more like interesting overall, make it feel less repetitive. You feel me? And I already said earlier, no effects on it. It's really just the EQ. That's it. EQ looking kind of crazy, maybe kind of unnecessary, but just for the mixing of the whole loop, I just kind of needed these frequencies to be a little bit more tame. You feel me? Let's get on to the next element, which is the saxophone. The saxophone goes so crazy, bro. All right, so boom, right here, the Swam alto sax. Now this is a VST that I found recently, and I completely fell in love with it. I'm always throwing out this sax right here, bro. It just sounds better than any other sax VST I've ever used, bruh. So with that being said, this is what I did to it, bruh. I just did like a little pattern while I'm walking up, go down, do a little roll thing, and then just, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't like too crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely like, you gotta have a little creativity to make something like this work, but for the most part, like, I would say anyone can make a pattern like this. It's not too crazy, you know what I mean? was hard. That shit was hard, bro. Okay. A couple little things that I've noticed in like saxophone patterns or just lead patterns in general that make them sound good on average. You know what I mean? So one thing that I noticed is that in like really good saxophone patterns, or at least a lot of saxophone patterns that I really like, doing notes where they kind of go back to each other usually end up sounding good. And what I mean is that, like, you see how it goes E and then F and then it goes back to E, like little melodies where it goes doot 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 and it goes back, like, I don't know, they always end up sounding good to me, bruh. I wish I could explain it to you more, but and another thing is doing little rolls like this. The roll makes this part so much harder, bruh. It gives the loop and the melody just so much more like character, you know what I mean? And then for the effects, I got Fruity Decapitator. This is just kind of like I think it's saturation or something like that, and saturation is like a light distortion. Then I got this EQ right here, boosting up the highs, taking down the low mids a little bit, just because at the time I felt like it was a little muddy. Hall of Vintage Verb, and you might be sitting there like, yo, 100% reverb, that's kind of crazy, but nah, look at this knob right here. Brought it down to like 41%. Next, Devin, talk. Mr. Infinite, talk. All right, so let's get on to the next element in the loop, which is the strings. Now, obviously, I could have got like some very high quality strings, like something in Opus, or maybe like a Contact Bank or something like that. But specifically for these types of loops, like the older vintage ones, I kind of like going to vintage VSTs, something like a Boom. Just because I feel like these type of strings kind of match the vibe a little bit more. You know what I mean? So I got the analog strings 1 and 2, and I just put like the G note down, and that's it. It sounds like that the whole time. I'm not gonna make y'all listen to the full 8 bars. Now with this, the only thing I did was just turn it down a lot, hand it to the left just so the loop had more room overall, and then I did this weird EQ thing. Don't ask me about it, bruh. Sometimes you just be doing weird stuff. I know you do it too. Look at me. I know you do it too. All right, next thing. Arguably one of my favorite elements in the whole loop, bro. I feel like this element made it really get the old vintage vibe. Like this is what really like set it up, and I wish I could tell y'all how I made it. I was just sitting here just on the keyboard, just pressing stuff, just trying to figure something out, and I ended up coming out with this right here. And then that just repeats out for like the whole loop. And even hearing it by itself, it doesn't feel like it's that important. But when you hear it with the context of the full loop, like, bro, it really just sets that vibe. Like, actually, let's just listen to it real quick. Now, without it, definitely fire without it, but with it, it just kind of gives you that vibe. So this is the Evolution Dracus guitar. I just turned down the volume a little bit. I got the Punchy Clean preset, and I just threw on reverb and EQ, you know what I mean? And then after all this, I was like, bro, we need to get the bass in here. So I got the perk bass right here as an analogy. Shout out my bro Steppers, bro. I got put onto this preset by him. And then it basically repeats over. Now for this right here is basically just taking the root notes of the melody and other notes that are in the chord and just going around that. You can see like this light note right here, like that's like from the original chord. That's on D, but this is on D2. We're all on D. But if we're on the D note the whole time, it can get kind of boring. So I did little things like this right here to kind of break up the monotony of only being on one note, you know what I mean? And then just hitting other stuff, matching the little hits I did right here. Even when you go right here to where the chord starts with the G, these are just notes that are inside the chord already. You know what I mean? If you're having trouble trying to figure out what to do for a bass line, start with the root notes and then maybe advance and elevate to other notes that are within the chord, or maybe even go crazy and just throw whatever notes you think is cool. And then for the effects, I ain't do nothing to it, bro. Look at this. Look how empty this is, bro. Make sure them velocities weren't too high because, you know, with a lot of basses, high velocity, low velocity changes the sound drastically. Okay, so here's the thing. This is a one shot from Splice, but then I was like, all right, cool. Let me get that to my other chop loop. It. Don't do that to my loops. That's not cool. I can do it to my own loops because, you know, it's Shmee. Don't do that to anyone's loops, actually. Only do it to ones that you've made. And then also I just got like this little symbol right here, and that's the last thing I added. And then after all that, I went into Ozone and I used that to master the loop. Do I recommend doing this? Not really. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about Ozone, bro. Ozone is meant to master songs. It's not meant to master loops, but I like it because it makes everything louder and more full, in my opinion. But in order to get that, you gotta tweak it. What I do is I always end up turning it down because it ends up being way too loud. It usually ends up messing up the low end, so I usually have to tweak it or mess around or something like that. And then it usually ends up boosting the high end like way too much, so I have to mess with that too. For the most part, it does do like a pretty solid job. You know what I mean? So that's the last thing that I did for this loop right here. And let's drop it into the new project and let's go over into a new kit that I just dropped. It is the West Coast drum loop kit, brother. It's 50 drum loops, all made by yours truly, you feel me? Also, side note, they are royalty free, so if you want to just take them, drag them in and make your beat and everything like that, it's good. Ooh, Gfunk. Oh, this is a vibe. That's a summertime vibe right there. That's crazy. Okay, what I was gonna do was go to one of the more Larry June-esque ones and then show y'all how cool the drum loops could be, but kind of got sidetracked with the Gfunk stuff. So let me find a Larry June-esque one real quick. It's a vibe. Maybe let's mess with the pitch too. All of that went crazy. It sounded great on the Gfunk and great on the UIInfinite. Let me know which one you like more in the comments. Do you like the Gfunk version more or the Larry June version more? Let me know. One last thing that I gotta say about the West Coast drum loops real quick is that I also included the stems to all of them, bro. So if there's something in a loop that you don't like, or maybe there's only one thing in the loop that you like and you just want to throw it into your beat, you have the ability to do that. You can just go right here, hit UIInfinite status, click on that first one, hold down shift, click on that last one. Bet you didn't know you could do that. And then you just drag in the whole thing. Now let's say that I like this drum loop right here, but I don't like the little rim roll that's in there. Now with the stems, I could just take that out. And we're good. So if these drum loops do interest you, they will be the first link in the description. 50 drum loops, royalty free, available now on gatekeepsounds.com. With that being said, my name is Devin. I also go by Infinite or Prod by Infinite. Peace out, brother.